As an outdoorsman, in my opinion, I feel that it's solely my responsibility to get this upcoming generation involved into the great outdoors. And that is exactly what this video is about today, getting new hunters some information, some tips, tricks, and spills on how they can get started deer hunting, turkey hunting, and waterfowl hunting. Let's go. First up is deer hunting. You see, deer hunting can be very rewarding, but also challenging. So here's some tips for y'all beginners to get y'all started out there deer hunting. Tip number one I'm going to say is to read and understand all of your state's laws, rules, and regulations. And understand that some states, it changes. So don't be afraid to read those rules, regulations, and understand what you are and are not allowed to do while deer hunting in your state. Scouting is absolutely crucial to deer hunting. This is something that needs to be done before the season starts to help you lock down a good hunting area. Things that you're looking for is something as simple as deer tracks, you're looking for deer droppings, you're looking for scrapes and rubs. Things like this will help you identify where the deer are most active. Also, if it's legal in your state to use game trail cameras, then set up a few game trail cameras, as this will help you cover more ground at one time so that you're able to view where your highest deer traffic is, where the most activity is. This will help you secure a good hunting spot when it comes time for season. Understanding deer behavior is absolutely key to a good, successful hunting trip. You see, deer are most active during the dawn and dusk hours. So in my opinion, this is really a great time, especially as a beginner, to be able to get out there and harvest a deer. But we also need to pay attention to times like the rut, which is their mating season. This is when the bucks especially are going to be up more active throughout the day. Also pay attention to food sources. Early in the year, early in the hunting season, I should say, there might be one food source that is going to be either cut, taken down, or die off. And later on, when winter is in full-blown swing and some other food source pops up somewhere else, those deer they tend to leave one dead food source or food source that's no longer useful to them to go to a more substantial food source. So keep that in your bag of tricks next time you go out. Stand placement is 100% crucial, in my opinion, when you go out deer hunting. You want to position your tree stand or your ground blind, or even if you're setting in just a chair leaned up against a tree, right? In an area with high deer activity that you scouted out before season, right? Near food sources, near water, or potentially bedding areas, or trails leading to these areas, right? You want to have a good view of your surroundings, being able to have good sight distance to see what might be coming in or what's passing by, but you also want to be able to remain undetected. So using things like blinds that will help cover up movement that you might make, or using a tree stand that will put you higher than the typical deer is looking, a good ways up in a tree, are all great things. If you're going to be sitting in a chair, it's not a bad idea before season starts to go out there and stack up some foliage around you. That way you can remain concealed and unseen. So one thing that we need to do with anything that we're hunting is we need to prioritize our safety. Understand and knowing the laws, rules, and regulations will help with this, but also just some general knowledge that will help you be a little bit more safer out in the woods. Like wearing blaze orange during rifle season, muzzleloader season, things like this. And this is so that you are visible to the other hunters whenever you're hunting, right? That's so important. Using a safety harness when you're up in a tree stand. And another thing that I think is very crucial is to always let someone that you trust know where you're going to be hunting and what time you expect to return. Things like this will help you ensure a good, safe hunting trip. Now let's talk a little bit about my favorite time of year, turkey season. You see, turkeys are known for their keen eyesight and really their elusive nature. This makes them truly a thrilling challenge for hunters. Here's some tips to help you get started. To locate turkeys, in my opinion, the easiest way to do it is to get out there very first thing in the morning before the sun comes up and start to listen for their calls first thing in the morning while they're still in the roost. oftentimes we don't have to make a single sound for these turkeys to start spouting off naturally. And also into the late afternoon before they go to roost, and then all the way up into the time to when they actually get into roost, it seems like these birds just naturally gobble. The hens will naturally start yelping and clucking and everything else, making them really easy to locate by sound during these times. But if we do need to use a call, I would recommend doing this before season starts at home, or wherever your wife or parents are going to tell you it's okay to practice these calls, because you don't want to get on their nerves. But practice these calls, making the sounds of a hen before you get out into the woods, before you start scouting, as these sounds are actually what is used in the woods to attract gobblers to you. So you don't want to attract them to you, but you do want to get them to spout off. You do want to get them to gobble. This way you can actually locate them. When you're scouting, you're looking for signs, simple like tracks, droppings, and feathers, whether in open fields or in high canopy wooded areas, right? Looking for signs like this will ensure you that you are in an area that has turkey activity. In my opinion, camouflage is absolutely crucial for turkey hunting, as they have excellent vision. So wear camouflage head to toe. This includes gloves, face mask, or face paint, whatever that you can find to blend yourself into your surroundings as much as possible. And also understand that you can have the greatest camouflage in the world, but if you do not sit still, be patient, slow movements, only moving during specific times, then your hunt can be busted. So as much as great camouflage is, in my opinion, is needed, sitting still, in my opinion, is the ultimate camouflage. Choosing and setting up in your location is, well, one of the biggest things about turkey hunting, because it's what you have to do in order to go turkey hunting. When setting up, you want to make sure that you have a good line of sight. You can see around you, but also you need to be in an area where there is great natural cover, right? You want to sit against a tree that's wider than your shoulders, and this helps break up your outline, right? It doesn't matter if you're hunting in a field or on a tree line or in high foliage areas, or with high canopy cover. It doesn't matter. You want to set up in a way that the natural earth around you, all the grass and the trees and everything else around you, is going to break up your outline, but also keep you concealed, but also you're able to keep a good line of sight so that when these turkeys do come in, that you will have a good clean shot opportunity. Mastering turkey talk. You see, to me, this is the part where I get most excitement out of turkey hunting, is mastering how they speak, mastering the language. And this is something that needs to be done before season starts. Once again, like I had said earlier, find you a place where you can practice your turkey calling without getting on everybody's nerves, but practice with different calls, pots and pegs, or slates and glasses and coppers, whatever you decide to use. Practice with box calls, mouth calls. Practice with all these different styles of calls until you get comfortable with these calls. You want to practice calls such as the yelps, clucks, purrs. All this is the things that we use out in the woods to bring these turkeys to us, right? And when you're out there calling, remember, you want to start with soft calls, starting out at a very low intensity level, and then work your way up and increase the volume if need be. Be patient, but also remain ready to shoot, because you never know when a quiet bird is going to pop out right on top of you. Where legal, decoys can be an absolute asset to your success in the turkey woods. Setting them up effectively is crucial. You want to set up a hen decoy, and what this does is this, with the sounds that you make with your call, it brings in toms even closer. And typically you want to place your decoys out well within shot range, so that when the tom does come in, you have a chance to shoot them, right? I like to set my decoys about 10 to 15 yards away from me. That way, if those birds do come in and for some reason they hang up at the 25 or 30 yard mark, I still have a good shot opportunity for what I'm capable of doing. A lot of times, a hen and a jake decoy will absolutely bring those birds in. This really, to the tom, he sees an inferior decoy, but he doesn't know it's a decoy. He sees an inferior bird trying to take one of his hens, so he's going to come rushing in, beat up on the decoy hopefully, and put on a great show for you, and then you're able to take a shot. But remember, we are turkey hunting and we are not waterfowl hunting. You don't need 10 decoys out there to bring in a bird. As a matter of fact, I would say you need the opposite. That's why I say start out with just a hen, and if need be, throw out a single Jake out there with that hen to try to close the deal. So now let's talk about what I consider to be by far one of the most social and fun hunting experiences that you can go do, and that's waterfowl hunting. The social camaraderie of you and all your friends out there and layout blinds or ground blinds, or simply just setting up against a tree, against a riverbank or a pond or a lake. This can truly be one of the most fun, memorable hunts that you can ever do. Waterfowl hunting is so much fun, and it requires some specific techniques though, and equipment. So here's what you need to know. We need to understand the migration patterns of these birds. Waterfowl, they migrate seasonally, so knowing when and where they move is essential. So the best thing for you to do is, once again, to get out and go scout early season. Knowing where there's local wetlands, rivers, and lakes to identify as prime hunting spots. And then, of course, a lot of times during season, we will be hunting in one area, we'll happen to pass by another area that's flooded with ducks, and so then that next day or that next weekend, whatever, we will decide to go out there and hunt that area, as that was the next area that we saw loaded down with ducks. Scouting is so important for a good, successful duck hunting trip. Using a variety of decoys to create natural looking spreads. You want to put them out in open water and near feeding areas, maybe even on the edge of the water, but you want to leave landing zones for the ducks or geese coming in to come into and to land. And when they start to enter these landing zones, you are going to be set up appropriately on the other side of the landing zone, allowing you to pop up out from the pop-up blind, the layout blind, or if you're simply just setting up against a tree, to be able to shoot the bird. Decoy placement is so crucial. There's so much information here on YouTube that you can look them up yourself to figure out what best suits you. Anything from 6 decoys or 6 dozen decoys. There is something on YouTube for you, but if that is something that you would like us to do, please let us know down in the comments below. Once again, like I said during the turkey hunting portion, you want to get used to these calls before season starts, right? When you use a duck and a goose call, what you're doing is you're mimicking the natural sounds of ducks and geese. A lot of these calls start with, basic quacks and honks, right? But practicing different calling sequences, like feeder calls and chuckles and everything else, you practice these things to entice the birds to come into your decoy spread so that you can have a good, clean shot opportunity. Using a well camouflaged blind, a layout blind, like a pop-up blind or something like that, or even a layout boat, can really be a strong tool in your arsenal for waterfowl hunting. But note, pop-up blinds and layout blinds and boats and all that is not necessary. You can just as easily go out and set against a tree, grab some branches and some foliage from around you, and build you a little bit of a blind right there in front of you to just kind of help cover you up, right? Brush up your blinds or yourself or whatever you're hunting in or around with natural vegetation to blend in with the surroundings, and make sure to wear camo, and you can wear a mask or face paint to stay hidden. Remember, these birds, when they are above you, they're seeing something totally different than what you're seeing. So movements and odd colors and things like that stand out greatly to these birds flying above us. Practice shooting before season gets here. This will save you a lot of time, money, and energy during your hunting session, I promise. Getting out and practicing with clay pigeons, skeet throwers, and things like that is going to help you be successful out there when you're hunting waterfowl. We got to remember to lead our shots, and this is so important. We got to aim slightly ahead of the bird to account for its movement while it's flying through the air, right? And we need to remember to use the appropriate choke and shot size for our shotgun. And that wraps up our beginner's guide for hunting deer, turkey, and waterfowl. Guys, be sure to take out somebody hunting this year that's never been before. Take a kid out, take your friend out, take your neighbors out. Whatever the case may be, it's important for the future of hunting and fishing to stay alive, to take new people and get them involved out into the great outdoors. Guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification so that you'll be notified the next time we upload more content. Until next time, y'all stay safe.